After the body of 24-year-old Alijah Bradley was found east of Gila Bend, a man who was reportedly his best friend Samuel Bush has been arrested in his alleged murder. Bradley's family is now gripped with the loss of a young man they describe as a bright light in everyone's life. It's devastating. He was just beginning his adulthood, Bradley's aunt Melissa McNeal said. I don't feel a relief or anything because it doesn't bring him back and it doesn't fix anything.
These are some of the worst details that we've heard recently, and all of the developments we've learned today took a lot of uncovering bit by bit because some of the case documents were sealed today. But we now know when Alijah Bradley was reported missing in mid-August, his remains were actually out near Gila Bend. His family now trying to piece together how and why the successful engineer was allegedly murdered by his childhood friend. Alijah Bradley had recently celebrated his 24th birthday. A recent NAU grad and project engineer, often seen smiling and joyous in pictures like this, how his family remembers him. They struggle to understand his recent murder, leading to the arrest of a friend Alijah trusted.
You hear about this on podcasts and stuff, and you never think it would happen to somebody that you love.
A close relative of Alijah's, who asked to remain anonymous, says they reported Alijah missing to the Gilbert Police Department on August 15th. He missed work, and unusually, his mom hadn't heard from him either. They say Alijah's mom had the Life 360 app on her phone and tracked her son's phone to a place they knew.
She signed back in and saw that his last location was at Sam's apartment, and then all of a sudden his phones were just off.
Samuel Stephen Bush, April 27th, 2001.
The relative says 23-year-old Samuel Bush was a childhood friend of Alijah's, but when confronted about Alijah's phone pinging their last, told his family he didn't know where Alijah was. That's when Alijah's family called Toyota to see if they could get the GPS coordinates of his car, which they relayed to police.
They gave him the coordinates that the car was in the middle of nowhere.
The desolate desert near Gila Bend, a new lead for police. That's where they not only found his car, but the remains of Alijah Bradley on August 19th, days after he was reported missing. This relative describes what they were told about the conditions, far more heinous than expected.
I was told his cause of death was getting shot in the back, and that they found him without his head. And something so cruel and so graphic. It's almost crazy to think that somebody is capable of doing that.
Sam Bush was arrested a day after the discovery, but at that point only for growing and distributing marijuana and mushrooms from his apartment. Then, just yesterday, slapped with second-degree murder and concealing body parts charges too. As for a motive, Alijah's family is completely confused.
We honestly don't know. He was Sam's best friend. He was Sam's only friend.
While they hope to understand more in the coming weeks, they are choosing to celebrate a life well lived, a life that was just getting started.
Just how accomplished he was, and how successful he was going to be, or he could have been.
Samuel Bush is now being held on a $1.5 million cash-only bond, an extremely high bond for a second-degree murder charge.
Hey everyone, DJ here. I want to talk about this case because I have a story to tell. So this victim, his name is Alijah Bradley. He was killed by his so-called best friend, Samuel Bush. Alijah Bradley and Samuel have known each other since they were kids. They grew up and they remained friends. Alijah went to college and became an engineer, and Samuel Bush became a drug dealer. A lesson here is that when you know someone who has gone down the wrong path, you have to separate yourself from them. Doesn't matter if it's your friend from childhood, if it's your sister, your brother, your mother, your father. If that person is breaking the law, that person is a risk to you. This kind of case is why I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody at all. I'm always suspicious of people, everyone. And that's not a good thing. I find humans, a lot of them, could be deceitful and conniving. And in this case, Alijah trusted his friend, his best friend, And that trust cost him his life. Let me tell you a story about what happened to me in my life. So when I was a young man, I had a friend. And at that time, he was my best friend. We did everything together. And one day he came to me and he said, "You want to start selling drugs?" And I told him that was not a good idea. I said, "There are other ways to make your life better." I said, "You're looking at the fast way out, and I'm telling you, you're going to get yourself in trouble." After that day, I explained to him why you shouldn't do it. The next day he came and he basically harassed me for about 3 weeks because he really wanted to do this thing. So I told him, "Listen, I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to be involved in drugs and all that." I said, "If you want to do that, you can do it. But I already told you it's a bad idea." And I also told him if he should start selling drugs, do not bring it around me. So if we're going to hang out, don't bring it. If you're going to come over to my house, do not bring the drugs. He eventually decided that's what he wanted to do. He went and bought the drugs and started selling it. And one day he came over to hang out at my house, and I see him was rolling up the drugs. I said, "Hey, didn't I tell you not to bring that over here?" People would test you until you stop them. People would do things to you only what you allow them to do to you. That's the general gist of life. After that day, he didn't bring it around me anymore because I wasn't going to stand for it. I wasn't about to get arrested because he was being a fool. Probably 6 months after that, he was arrested. He was arrested for selling drugs. And I'm sure he regret, and I'm sure he remember me telling him, "Don't sell drugs." Now he's out of jail now, and he want to reconnect with me, but I don't want to reconnect with him because I can't trust him. He's been in jail. He was a drug dealer. He's unpredictable. I can't trust him. I can't trust him around me. I can't trust him around my family. So I really don't want to have nothing to do with him. And that's the general gist of my life. I can't trust people. You really don't know what's going on in somebody's head. In this case, we don't know why Samuel decided to kill his best friend. But I can tell you this. When you're a drug dealer, that's the kind of life you got to live. You're going to have enemies and you're going to have to kill this person or beat this person up. That's just part of the life. So I would suspect that Samuel probably have killed somebody before, if I had to guess, okay? And I don't know why he chose to kill his best friend. Maybe they had a disagreement. The fact is, he killed a good person. Elijah just came out of college, just graduate. He's an engineer. His life is going down the right path. Could be jealousy too. Samuel Bush, he had an opportunity. But remember, we're living in America, the land of opportunity. You have a choice. You can go to school, you can get an education, you can live on the right path, or you can choose to try to get the fast life and be a criminal and be a gangster. You're either going to end up in jail or you're going to end up dead. Only two paths you have there. Samuel Bush decides to go down the wrong path and subsequently end up killing his best friend. He not only killed his best friend, he decapitated him. He shot him in the back and dismembered him. Another thing about this case is that Elijah went missing. His mother didn't hear from him. His job called and said he didn't come to work. And his mother had the Live 360 app, and she traced his phone straight to Samuel Bush's apartment. When they got over by Samuel, they asked him, "Have you seen Elijah?" And he said no. Yet, his phone is pinging right at Samuel's apartment. Soon after that, the phone went dead. Once Samuel knew that Elijah's phone could be tracked, he turned it off. Criminals are really stupid. I'm happy that they're stupid, but they're really dumb. His mother and his family went to Toyota because they know he had a Toyota vehicle. And this is a good thing that these cars now have tracking, just about all of them, the new cars, they have tracking devices on them. You could find them. So they went to Toyota, and Toyota helped them locate the car. And they went to the cops found the car, and that's where they found Elijah's body in the car with his head missing. And then they put two and two together and they figured out Samuel Bush is the guy who killed him. Life 360 app, the one that, Elijah's mother used to track him down, my family also uses that app, and that's a great app, and it's free. If you have a family or anybody that you love, you all should be connected with Life 360. Just download the app on your phones and allow each other to see locations. So for instance, my wife and my daughter, we're all on the Life 360 app, so we can know exactly where each other is at, wherever we are. So if I go to work, my wife will know I'm at work. So if I go missing, my wife will be able to track exactly where I was, and so that's how they solved this case so quickly. Because if she didn't have the Life 360 app, they wouldn't have known to go to Samuel's house, for one. If they didn't think about the tracker on his car, his Toyota car, then they wouldn't have found the body that quickly either, and the case could have gone cold. This technology is here for you to use to protect you and your family, because let's say, for instance, this was a kidnapping. They would have been able to track the victim and possibly find the victim alive before anything bad has happened. The Life 360 app is great, and if you're using any other tracking app, it's great. Because in this situation, look at what happened. Even though Elijah got killed, which is very unfortunate, looks like a very good young man, 24 years of age, and imagine the killer is 23. So the lessons here is that just because you're friends in childhood doesn't mean you're going to be friends in adulthood. You have to reevaluate people just about every year and see if you need these type of people in your life. And if someone is living a life that's not as the same path as you, let them go. If someone's dealing drugs and have illegal guns and behaving a certain way, that's just pull back, separate yourself from them, because that person dangerous. There's a lot of dangerous people walking around. That's why I got a small group. I don't have a lot of friends. Very, very few people I consider to be friends, because the more people you have is the more people to stab you in your back. And it's very sad what happened to Elijah. So with this case, unfortunately, Elijah lost his life, but there is lessons to be learned here. Stay away from bad people, regardless if they're your friends or your family, and use Life 360, use tracking apps. Make sure if you have a car, make sure it also has that feature in it, because it could save your life. Literally, it could save your life. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.